As the defenders of Berlin are routed out, poison capsules are distributed to the inmates of the vault in the Chancellery. On April 29th, Hitler marries Eva Braun. Adolf Hitler's personal pilot, Hans Bauer, tells about Hitler's final orders. He says, approximately 1/2 to 3/4 of an hour before Hitler's death on the 30th of April, he sent for me. When I reported, he took both my hands in his and said to me, "Bauer, I want to say goodbye." For a moment I was speechless, and it took 20 minutes to say goodbye. And the other things he said, "Bauer, I have 2 more orders for you. The first is, I make you personally responsible for burning the corpses of my wife and me. The second is, see to it that Bormann gets through to Dönitz. Dönitz will become my natural successor. I have given Bormann large numbers of orders and documents to take with him to Dönitz." All the time I was struck by Hitler's clear way of speaking. I couldn't believe that this was to be the finish. Nazi capital is taken. The last defenders are hauled from their holes. Amid the complete ruin, it is difficult to find out what happened to the fallen Nazi idol, but the full story is pieced together later. In the basement of the Chancellery, Adolf Hitler shoots and kills himself. Eva takes poison and dies. Their bodies are burned by Joseph Goebbels and Hitler bodyguard Martin Bormann and tossed into this ditch in the courtyard outside their death chamber. Here is Erich Kempka, Hitler's personal chauffeur for many years. He soaked the bodies in gasoline. He says, "When I saw the chief for the last time, I definitely had the feeling that the end was near. But there was no change in him that you could see, not in his character nor anything else. He said goodbye and dismissed me. Next day, when the chief was dead, I went on to the bunker just as they were carrying out the corpse. Then came Martin Bormann with Eva Braun in his arms. I took her body away from him and carried her along behind Adolf Hitler. We placed these 2 bodies side by side in the garden. I had placed on me the exceptionally difficult moral duty of pouring petrol on them and setting fire to them. The corpses burned from 1:30 until 7:30 in the evening. Joseph Goebbels shoots his 6 children and has an SS guard shoot his wife and himself. And the Russians hoist the red flag atop the Brandenburger Gate. American occupation troops arrive from the west, hoist the stars and stripes. Allied leaders, including American generals and Russian generals, take over. The Third Reich dies in a last convulsive catastrophe. The guns crackle sporadically. The Russians are shooting all suspicious persons. Berlin, May 4th, 1945. A city of smoldering ruins, which, like Phoenix, must rise from the ashes of itself. Adolf Hitler has left a mark on his country, which will be remembered for 1,000 years. The 1,000 years he said his Third Reich would endure. Hitler's private mountain lair, Berchtesgaden, shares the fate of Berlin. The scene of his trysts with Eva Braun is a shambles. The actors have left the scene forever. The Nazi leaders are dead or in prison. And the female lead, Eva herself, is a rotting corpse, charred beyond recognition. And what shall we say of the principal actor? The part-time common laborer whose dream of leading his people to world conquest ran the gamut of violence, torture, concentration camps, mass death chambers, and ended in utter destruction. In death, as in life, Adolf Hitler remains the sinister symbol of tyranny, the ruthless tyrant whose mad ambition did not stop with the enslavement of his own people, but stopped only after it had unleashed upon the world the most brutal war in recorded history. Quiet has returned to the gay patio at the Berghof. A quiet which, despite the brutal lesson to be learned from the life of Hitler, has not yet returned to the world. The horrible specter of man's inhumanity to man still dwells among us.